So I thought I would break down my dark horses in all of the UFC male divisions. Uh, so this is a bit difficult because I'm going to try to avoid doing ranked fighters, but there will be at least two ranked fighters on this list, but recently ranked, not the most well-known names or anything by that, like by any means. So yeah, just getting right into it. We have the UFC flyweight division. Now, people are going to assume that this is going to be a biased list, but trust me, this list isn't biased. This has nothing to do with nationality or anything like that. But my first dark horse, and this is why I do mention the ranking point, is Steven Astro Boy Urseg. I know he is ranked, I get that, but when you think about it, he's only one fight in the UFC, so I'm still going to include him as a dark horse just because he really doesn't have that much experience when you think about it. I know a lot of people would be putting Tatsuro Taira on this list. I know, I understand that he's also a very good prospect, but I actually think Urseg's overall skill set is better than Tatsu Taira. Taira is like a very good fighter, don't get me wrong, but his striking is like women's mixed martial arts esque. And by that, I'm not disrespecting like Zhang Weili or any of the really good fighters, but I mean like he sort of, I'm gonna say it's as bad, but his striking is like sort of on the same level as like a Juliana Pena from what I've seen. I guess Edgar Chara is very powerful, guys, so maybe that's why. But his striking just didn't really impress me too much there, and he did get dropped. While Steve Ursig, on the other hand, actually, I know he doesn't look like he would, but he's got a granite chin. He's got very good striking. He has a Muay Thai background. He actually fought one of my old training partners a few years ago, back in the day. My training partner actually beat him, but that was straight Muay Thai. Then they were scheduled for an MMA fight, but still, that away. He's a very impressive fighter. Very good jiu-jitsu, very good wrestling. He does do wrestling tournaments and everything. He fought in amateur MMA tournaments in Singapore, went on to beat a bunch of people, then lost to Dennis Bodnar, who I know not the greatest fighter, but he fought a lot of fucking people, so obviously fatigue and everything would come in. But he also beat Cody Haddon, who people are going to know about this guy real soon. He is fucking very good. He's a bantamweight as well. This guy's going to be in the UFC before long. Hopefully, he can just get all his injury issues sorted and everything. But very good fighter. But yeah, Steven Urseg, he is my dark horse for flyweight. Just a very like his debut against Dvorak was very impressive. Short notice, he showed off his striking. He's very powerful as well. Got very deceptive power. That's something I think Tatsuro Taira doesn't have as power. Steve Urseg, very deceptive power, good striking, good leg kicks. His grappling is legit. Like he has very legit grappling, very good wrestling, and yeah, that's why I have him. And also, I like his experience and the level of competition he fought. He only really fought one bad fighter from memory. Plus, he's got two of the guys he beat have been in the UFC outside of Dvorak. Obviously, Shannon Ross not the greatest fighter, and the other guy he beat, I think, is back in the road to UFC tournament, but doing very good. So yeah, Steven Urseg's wins age pretty well, and yeah, I think he's going to beat Matt Schnell. So yeah, that's why I have him at as my number one dark horse at flyweight. But yeah, anyway, moving on to the bantamweight division. Now this one's a little harder. This is a very good division. Obviously, flyweight's also a very good division, but bantamweight in general, it's just so stacked. And I did have a name I was thinking of putting on this list, but I just don't know if he's gonna be fucking making uh, bantamweight again because he's already missed weight a few times. I'm of course talking about Christian Rodriguez. He's a fucking monster, but he can't make the weight class. Like, knowing how this guy derails hype trains, it wouldn't surprise me if we get fucking Christian Rodriguez versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Christian Rodriguez misses weight by 2.5 pounds and goes in there and fucking stops the hype train. But yeah, jokes aside, Christian Rodriguez would have been probably my pick, but I don't see him fighting in bantamweight for the future. I think he really does have to move up at this point. He's missed weight way too many times. But yeah, so for my actual bantamweight dark horse pick, I am going to be picking Rinya Nakamura. I think this guy is fucking like amazing. Like I really rate Rinya Nakamura. He's a bit on the older side. I think he's like 28 years old, so he's not like the youngest prospect, but he's not too old either. Let me just double check that. Rinya Nakamura. He's a 28 years old, so you're not too bad. He is a fucking monster on the feet. Has no fear at all. Has a crazy power. Like generally has fucking insane power. And he's not even a striker. He is a grappler. He is a wrestler. He wrestled in the Olympics, I do believe. Uh, I might be wrong on that actually. I do know he competed in a bunch of like freestyle wrestling World Cup. He won bronze at the Wrestling World Cup, won gold at the World U2 Free World Wrestling Championships. Like this guy's got a very good freestyle wrestling background. Was 36-9, which is very good for a wrestler. And like I say, the guy's just he's pretty much learning martial arts on the job. But he's got knockouts. He's got submissions. He's powerful. He's solid. His cardio is really good. He just completely fucking ragdolled Fernie Garcia for 3 rounds. If I remember correctly, he was very close to getting a submission, but didn't end up getting it. So his submissions are coming along too. Uh, and yeah, I think it's going to take someone really special to stop this guy. I think he's the best fighter to come from that road to UFC tournament. And yeah, I actually see this guy going really far. Uh, so yeah, interesting to see where Rinya Nakamura ends up in the next few years. Maybe I've just completely jinxed him. Who knows? But yeah, I'm generally very impressed with this guy. And now moving on to the featherweight division. Now, featherweight's one of those other really stacked divisions. A lot of good fighters coming up in that division. Like there is a lot of good talent. But I'm gonna pick someone who I wasn't actually that high on until their last fight. But he really did open my eyes after that fight. I don't know if he's gonna be staying at this weight class, but this guy's a fucking monster. I didn't believe in this guy. I thought maybe he was a bit of a can crusher. Like respectfully to the guy, I just thought maybe yeah he wasn't all that, but yeah, I was definitely wrong about that. I'm giving this guy his due. This guy is an actual really good talent. I'm of course talking about Isaac Dolgarian. I think this guy's gonna go very far in the UFC. This guy is like he's like a fucking featherweight Jailton Almeida. This guy, if he gets you down, you're fucked. That's all I can say. The guy's striking is competent enough. He's not Ben Askren on the feet. It's always my go-to example when talking about bad strikers. He's no Ben Askren on the feet. He's got solid leg kicks, and his wrestling is fucking legit. This guy just runs through people. Absolutely destroyed Francis Marshall. That really opened my eyes because I don't think Francis Marshall's that bad. Honestly, I don't think he's that bad. And for Isaac Dolgarian to go and run through him like that, like seriously impressed me. I think this guy has a really bright future in that featherweight division. It'll be interesting to see who they give him next. Maybe I'm wrong on this. There is still a lot of questions I have about this guy. Like, what does he look like after he gets extended past the first round? What's his cardio like? How does he deal with like proper adversity? Like, there is a lot of questions. Like, I want to see if what he's like when he's not just a hammer, when he's also the nail. But outside of that, I do like what I see from him. He's showing he can do that to at least UFC caliber talent like Francis Marshall. I think Francis Marshall generally is UFC caliber. He's very good in my opinion. But yeah, I was generally impressed with that. So obviously, still a lot more questions with this. Dolgarian's probably my least confident of my dark horses picks, just because there is still so many questions about this guy. Like this guy might have a glass chin for all we know, or just might not have really good gas tank. But I'm investing in the Isaac Dolgarian stocks for sure after his last performances. Like I said, this guy generally very impressed me and it takes quite a bit for me to jump on a hype train, especially in them lower weight classes where everyone's good. But I don't know, just from what I've seen from him, he's a fucking monster in there, a genuine monster. And so yeah, I just had to put him on this list. And then moving on to the lightweight division. Now this one's really hard. Lightweight, in my opinion, is one of the best for prospects out of all the UFC divisions. So I'm going to give this one a long, hard fought. There is a lot of good guys coming up in this division. It's tough, man. This is generally very tough. Oh, there's two guys I want to put on this. I, mm, oh fuck it, I don't care. People are gonna call me biased, but I'm gonna I'm gonna put Tom Nolan on here. I know it's gonna appear like I'm very biased. Another Aussie. I wasn't thinking I was gonna put more than one Aussie on this list. I thought Steve Erceg would be the only one I put on, but no, I have to put this guy on there. I'm fully on the Tom Nolan hype train. I have been ever since I watched his regional career. I've seen this guy on the come up, and I've just been very impressed with him. Long fucking amateur career, has a crazy long amateur career. Like I say, only lost once to a very good fighter, down a weight class as well. So obviously, he's a very big lightweight. So that cut down the featherweight was probably killing him a little bit because he didn't look like himself. He also was like primarily a grappler at that time. He had no striking. To see how far along his striking has come is insane. Like he's primarily a striker, but he still does have all that grappling and jujitsu and everything still. Like it's still in the back pocket if he needs to use it. So I am actually going to have Tom Nolan here as my dark horse. I know it might seem a bit biased, but I truly believe this guy's gone really far. Only 23 years old. Maybe it's a bit crazy to call him a dark horse being that young. He hasn't made his UFC debut or anything yet. But I just think that once he does, I think he's going to just destroy whoever they put in front of him. Every fight, his performances get better and better, and he won against Bogdan Grad, like what, in September? Was it September? No, it would have been longer than that. I think it was August. It's been a long time since he fought, at the very least. Maybe it was July. Fuck, when did he fight? Holy shit. Yeah, when? Like it feels it couldn't have been only a month ago. Surely not. But yeah, August. It would have been August. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was like September. No, no way that was a month ago. He's taken a bit of time off. I think he's looking to get something booked in December, but that's just really that's really good time for him just to get his skills crafted perfectly and everything. He has a smart team behind him, very good teammates he trains with at Compton's. So yeah, I generally do think this guy's going to go very far. Maybe a bit crazy to put him as a dark horse. My second choice for dark horse, I was going to do Abdul El Sawadi, but I still have questions about El Sawadi. He looks great against George Hardwick, but normally his like chin's always been a bit sus, but he didn't show a sus chin there. Maybe George Hardwick just didn't show up properly, and maybe that's the reason El Sawadi looked like fucking a championship contender in that fight. Who knows? So, like, I know it's a bit contradictory to say I have a lot of questions about El Sawadi when I did put a 6-0 fighter on my dark horse, but yeah, I do understand the repercussions there, but I still have a lot of questions to see if El Sawadi's like durability is as bad as I thought it was, because he did look very solid chin wise against Hardwick. So I guess we'll have to see how he does in his UFC debut. If his chin does hold up, though, I think El Sawadi is like a ranked level fighter, though, for sure. But obviously, there's a lot of questions to be answered. Hopefully, he makes his debut soon. But yeah, that's why I have Tom Nolan there. And then we're going on to the welterweight division. Now, this one's interesting. I did say there would probably be at least two ranked fighters on this list, and that yes. So this is my second ranked fighter. He was only recently ranked, so he hasn't been ranked for long. But I am gonna have the fucking monster from Tatarstan, if that's how you pronounce it properly. Uh, Renat Fakretinov, absolute monster. This guy is. Not some of his fights aren't the most exciting. But that Brian Battle fight I like that one. I actually thought that was really underrated. Really good performance. We all know Brian Battle is a legit fighter. Obviously, short notice nature for Brian Battle, so maybe he would have done better on a full camp. But, Renat Fakredinov just ran through him, absolutely destroyed him. Like a fucking pure dominant performance there. Like, that was actually a really good performance. I think he got like a 30-24, something crazy like that. He just absolutely not even close at all for Brian Battle there. Also ran through Andreas Michailidis, but not the most entertaining performance, if we're being honest. He wrestle fucked the shit out of him. Like, that was it. And still a very impressive performance, but not the most entertaining. But still very impressive. He showed that cardio, showed that pace. Like, this guy has some crazy chain wrestling. He's got fucking hammers in his fist, as we've seen against Kevin Lee. Fucking flash KOs him and then wraps up a not a rear naked, a guillotine and just fucking, or a scarf hold, and just, yeah, fucking chokes him out cold. That was like brutal. I get Kevin Lee, he's never won at welterweight, but still, Kevin Lee is a solid win. Especially, Kevin Lee always looks good in the first round, but Renat Fekretinov literally ran through him in the first round, which is still impressive, however you look at it. And I do think he is going to be Alexi uh, Dos Santos in a couple of weeks in Brazil. I do think he's going to win that fight, and I think he's going to win it very impressively. I actually do generally think this guy's got a very bright future. He's 32. He's not too old. He obviously, he's not a young fucking man either in the sport. Like it's probably now or never, but he is now ranked. He's 15th. I think he beats Dos Santos. Maybe you give him the win. I don't know, who would you give him? You could maybe give him the winner of Brady Gastelum. Maybe not that. Uh, hmm. Like, you got to give him a ranked fighter after this. He's already ranked. If he beats Dos Santos, that's 4-0 in the UFC. You could probably give him Michael Chiesa. I think that'd be a pretty good fight to make. I do think Renat would probably run through Michael Chiesa. Maybe you could do Renat for Kretinov versus Kevin Holland. Stylistically, a nightmare matchup for Kevin Holland, but I guess it would tell us a lot about him. But yeah, I do think that'd be a horrible matchup for Kevin Holland. Like, I think this guy can beat a lot of them guys. Like, I think Renat Fekretinov is top 5 level. Especially his style. Especially, these guys are like, oh, fucking finally, Hamza Chimaev's out of the rankings. We don't have to deal with any of these, like, crazy Russians or anything like that. We don't have to deal with any of them crazy chain wrestlers from that part of the world. And then fucking Rekrat for Kretinov's music fucking hits, and now you've just got another one in there, like another fucking guy from that part of the world. And a lot of people think this guy's Dagestani or Chechen or any of them. He's not. He's his own breed. He's a Tatar. I think that's how you pronounce it. I do apologize if I do not pronounce that properly. But yeah, he's from Tatarstan. He's the first Tatar from in the UFC. So yeah, he's showing out for his people there. But yeah, anyway, enough about Renat Fekretinov. I'm not dick riding him. I don't know if he's the most entertaining fighter. I do admit that, but I do just think this guy is good and he probably will go far. I just don't see who can beat him at this point. Like, he's gonna have to make a real key mistake or something to lose, unless we find out he's chinny or something like that. But he seems pretty good from what I've seen. Now we're in the middleweight division. Now this is a very interesting division because I think it's one of the worst divisions skill wise, and I generally do believe that. But there is a lot of really entertaining and fun fighters in this division, and for this, I'm gonna go with a pick. A lot of people know this guy, but I am gonna be going with for my middleweight dark horse. Be like Joe Pyfer. I'm going with Joseph Pyfer. I think Joe Pyfer is generally a very good fighter. It's not just because of the Dana White fucking privilege or hype train or anything. I think this guy's generally very good. Fucking strong guy. Solid wrestling. You don't get many good grapplers like that in the middleweight division. He's got hands. He's big for the weight class. This guy's fucking massive. He is one of the biggest middleweights, man. This guy is huge. He has solid power, solid boxing, legitimate jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Beat Gerald Meerschaert in a pure grappling match. Knocked him out in MMA and then beat him in a pure grappling match. Like, that just tells you how legit his grappling is, because Gerald Meerschaert's a legit grappler. Very good jiu-jitsu. And, like, this guy's always in jiu-jitsu tournaments. I think he beat Eric Anders in one. Might have beat Phil Hawes in one too, if I remember correctly. I just know this guy's grappled a lot. I might be mixing up him and Andre Petrosky's grappling opponents there. Maybe they both wrestled them both. But yeah, Joe Pyfer, legitimately great talent, man. Like, I when I first seen that he was on Dana White Contender Series again against was it Diaz? I think his name was Ozzy Diaz, maybe. Sorry if I'm, or was it Ozzy Diaz? I think that's what his name was. And I remember thinking, because I had watched that guy fight, and I was like, oh, why are they bringing Pyfer back? Why are they bringing this guy back? He lost to Dustin Stolfus, and I was thinking, This guy's not. Yeah, Ozzy Diaz. Okay, I'm glad I remember that correctly. I seen Ozzy Diaz fight before this, and I was like, damn, this guy looks really good. Won the LFA middleweight title, and he looked really good in that performance. I was like, oh, he's going to win this all day. I'm like, oh, they must be giving him an easy win, putting this guy who lost to Dustin Stolfers. And then I watched the fight, and he knocked him out cold. And then I went and watched his highlights properly, and I was like, damn, this guy's actually good. And then obviously now he's on a really good run in the UFC. Obviously not the greatest opponents. Well, his debut wasn't the greatest guy. Amadowski's not the greatest fighter in the world. He's not a world beater by any means, but he passed the GM3 test that not many middleweights do pass. Makhmud Muradov, Bruno Silva, many more have not fared well about the fared well against the GOAT GM3. But one man just ran through GM3, and that was Joe Pyfer. So he's legit when it comes to that. And then he ran through Abdul Al Hassan, choked him out cold, beat him on the feet. Did show maybe some flaws with his leg kick defense, and maybe leg kicks are going to be something people use against him. But this guy's wrestling's legit. He just came out, fucking picked up Abdul Al Hassan, and yeah, just ragdolled him there. So I generally think this guy will go very far. Especially with middleweight not being the greatest. Plus, Dana loves him, so he probably will get favourable matchups moving forward. He did say he wants to fight Paul Craig if he loses to Brendan Allen. I think he would knock out Paul Craig properly, but maybe Paul Craig is a mythical fighter at middleweight. We have to see how that Brendan Allen fight goes, but yeah, generally very exciting times ahead at middleweight because there is a lot of fun, entertaining fighters coming up, and I think Joe Pyfer is one of the best among them. Obviously, Bo Nickel is legit too, but I do have to see Bo Nickel against better level of competition, obviously, but I do think Joe Pyfer, very legit fighter, showing all round skill set, and plus Bo Nickel was young to MMA. I think he will be a legit contender and everything in the future, but just from what I've seen from Joe Pyfer, I'm going to put him here. I think he's going to be ranked before you know it. There's already a bunch of guys in the rankings I think he could be. And he's just going to keep evolving and getting better. He's really young too. People don't realize. I know he doesn't look like the youngest bloke. He's 26 years old. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's 26, maybe turning. I think he's turning 27 next month, or in December. So the guy's really young, really fucking young. Which yeah, this guy can go on to do a lot of stuff. Middleweight's an old man's division too. There are so many old fighters at middleweight who are still having success at their old age until recently. There was Jacare, there was Joel Romero, not in the UFC anymore, either of them, but they were still winning as older fighters in the middleweight division. So, Joe Pyfer is so fucking young that he could go on and he could do a bunch of great things in that middleweight division. But anyway, enough glazing of the Joe Pyfer. Let's go on to the light heavyweight division. Now, this one, light heavyweight's got to be the smallest division, I swear. But for this, it's going to be very interesting. It's not gonna lie, this division is pretty rough, man. uh, yeah, fuck, I don't even know, man. Light heavyweight is rough. It's generally a very rough division to go look at. Uh, yeah. I'm thinking, who was there any really good signings in the UFC light heavyweight division, Dana White Contender Series? Let me check. I don't think there was any that looked championship level though. Let me check. Light heavyweight. Nah, Aslan was good, but he'd lose to Anton Kotkash. Ribeiro, no. Okay, there's a bunch of light heavyweights. Oh yeah, Medina's going to be our champion. So nah, not really. Omar Zai, I haven't watched any of his stuff yet, but apparently he's a very good fighter, but I haven't watched his fight, so I can't say anything on him. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I guess I'm gonna have to go with another ranked fighter here. Now this guy's got a pretty tough fight ahead. Yeah, well not. Yeah, he's got a decently tough fight ahead of him. But I am going to go with Azamat Murzakanov here. I know he's a bit of an older guy, but it's light heavyweight, man. There is just not many prospects coming up in this division. The UFC really need to focus on getting some young talent into this division because it's a very small division, and they really do just need high, like fucking prospects. Just sign like 20 random fucking light heavyweights at this point. Help build all these guys up because there's like nobody to fight in that light heavyweight division. But yeah, I am going to go with Azamat Murzakanov here. I think, he is an impressive fighter. He seems a bit undersized for light heavyweight, but he's doing fucking fine, if we're being honest. Ran through Dustin Jacoby with the striking, which is very impressive. We all see Dustin Jacoby very legit with his striking. Former Glory kickboxer. And Azamat Murzakanov just beat the shit out of him. His cardio has some, you got to watch his cardio a little bit, but he is very good on the feet. He's got really good wins. He beat Tefan Nchukwi with a flying knee. He beat the shit out of Devin Clark, which is a really good win, honestly. Devin Clark, not a bad fighter by any means. Then he also beat, was it Jacoby? I think there was somebody else before that. I think he's got another win in the UFC, but still very, very legitimate fighter in my opinion. Undefeated, 34 years old, so he's making his run now, fighting Khalil Roundtree. Oh no, he's only 3-0. He did beat Mateus. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Sheffel, who's a very good win. In the PFL, beat Muhammad Fakhreddin, good win in the PFL. He beat former Glory kickboxer Guto Inoue. He really has it out for the Glory kickboxers. He's also knocked out Andre Meniz, so that's a really good win there. So yeah, like I say, he's got some really decent wins. 13-0. First Circassian fighter, not Dagestani or Chechen either. He's his own breed as well. He's Circassian, but this guy's very good power. Got some heavy hands, solid wrestling too, but does focus mainly on the hands. But very fucking powerful. I would love to see this guy at middleweight, but he just likes fighting at light heavyweight to stay more active apparently. But eventually, I do hope we see Azamat Murzakanov move down to middleweight because I think he'd be a force there. But I guess I gotta have him at light heavyweight just because fucking, who else is there to put as my light heavyweight prospect? Light heavyweight's just not very good when it comes to the prospects or even just overall fighters. Like, they need to really strengthen that fucking roster. There is nobody in that division. But anyway, yeah, that's all I've got to say about light heavyweight. Then we got my dark horse for the heavyweight division. Now, this one's pretty tough too. Heavyweight is starting to get some more prospects coming up. But a dark horse, shit, that is a big one to say. The dark horse. See, this is tough. This is actually really tough. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with Shamil Gaziev if I'm being honest. Like, that's all I can think of. He's already got a ranked opponent. He's fighting Martin Buday. I think he's gonna beat Buday. Yeah, I just have to go with him. He's powerful. He's got good wins. He can grapple. His cardio has got something to watch. His cardio is to be watched. But like, who the fuck else am I meant to pick as a dark horse in the heavyweight division? Everybody's old and fat. He's fat, but he's powerful. He looks good. Like, I don't know. Heavyweight's one of the weirder divisions to like actually go out there and pick an overall prospect for. Like, what the fuck am I looking for in this division? Like, heavyweight, you can never know with heavyweight. So I'll go with the guy who's undefeated and is shown to have like fucking Thai Quill in his hands and has grappling as well. I feel like being that well rounded at heavyweight would do him some favors. Plus, long amateur career. He's got a lot of experience. He's from KHK. They're a very good team. He's got all the perfect trainers in the world for heavyweight. Like, he's got a lot of good teammates to train with. Like, they have the best facilities and everything. If he fixes his cardio, because his cardio didn't look the greatest in his Dana White Contender Series fight, it didn't look horrible. He just looked like a heavyweight, let's be honest. Maybe the UFC are gonna fumble this and Boudet is gonna beat him, and I'm gonna look like a fool. But I just can't think who else am I gonna have on here. Like who else would be a dark horse? Mohammed Usman. You know, Mick Parkin is actually very good, but I don't know how far I see Mick Parkin going. He still hasn't fought anybody amazing, but I do think Mick Parkin is like very good from what I've seen. But I have to go with Shamil Gaziev here. But I think Parkin's actually got a very bright future as well. But yeah, it's heavyweight. What can I fucking say about heavyweight at this point that hasn't been said? Like anything can fucking happen at heavyweight. So I guess we'll find out when Gaziev fights Martin Buday what his ceiling is. I hope, for my sake, that he goes and gets this one done and wins. But yeah, like I say, all my other weight classes, I have like proper reasons and everything for picking fighters. But in the heavyweight division, it's like a coin toss. Most of these guys aren't going to go on to be ranked. A lot of these guys are just filler guys. It's why heavyweight's one of those only divisions where they let the fighters like fight with like 4 losses, no wins, because they don't have any heavyweights. They need to let these guys fight as many fresh matches as they can. That's why the UFC really need to like focus on signing all these really good heavyweight prospects on the regional scene. But who am I to tell the UFC their own job? They should fucking know what they're meant to do. They really got to build that heavyweight division up, like honestly. But like I say, that's my dark horse list there. Let me know what you think of my dark horses in the comment section below. Uh, yeah, like I say, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Let me know your personal dark horses in every division. And if you made it this far into the video, make sure you give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, and I didn't put the women weight classes. I don't know enough about women's MMA to pick my dark horses. But if I was to have a dark horse in one of them divisions, Natalia Silva is the best women's prospect in my opinion. She is solid. She's actually a generally good fighter. So that's all you're getting out of me when it comes to the women's mixed martial arts side of things. Because outside of that, I don't know fucking shit about these dark horses in those divisions. You cannot predict them. They're even worse than the heavyweights in predicting their fights. Anything can happen on any given night in women's mixed martial arts. The overall greatest favorite in the world will somehow get fucking 30-26 by a 8-5 opponent or 8-6 opponent. So you just never know. Randa Marcos has a win over Carla Esparza. That's all I have to say on that front. Yeah, sue me. That's all I got to say. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.